Hey, it's Tuesday, April the 22nd, and I just finished my weekly meeting with Polygon Health to discuss the Patient Connect platform. And I thought I would just give you the story of how that was actually developed. Some of you know, but many in the group don't know how that all came about and maybe not even know what it is. So it all goes back to when I first started the Multiple Myeloma Warrior Community Group, and I had the idea to create a members map. And I found a company called ZMaps that had the technology, and I actually convinced them to give it to me so that we could have that map. And the idea was just for people to be able to connect with one another. And the technology is actually quite expensive, and it was very kind of ZMaps to give us that ability to use their technology. And it worked, and people seemed to like it. But as the group grew, I started getting contacted by market research companies and other companies wanting to do projects with our members. And one of the companies that reached out to me was a company called Polygon Health. They were doing a CAR-T study. And when I meet these people from these market research companies, and in Polygon's situation, they're actually a startup digital health technology company. And I get to know them. I put them through a vetting process, and I build relationships with these people, and many of them have become personal friends. And I had built a friendship with Wei-Lin Ming and Rob Dribbins from Polygon Health. And in January of 24, Wei-Lin messaged me, and he said that he had seen the map that we had through ZMaps, and he really liked the idea. And he said that before he started his company, though, he was a data scientist and programmer for one of the large pharma companies. And one of the things he did was gather data and put it in maps. And he said, just tell me what you want, and I'll build you a much better map than that specifically for your group. And he said, I'll do it for free. So super kind to offer. And it really just says a lot about him and the whole Polygon team. They're all like that, just amazing people. And I'm proud to call them my friends. I thought about it for a few days, and I was actually laying in the bed with the flu, running 104 temperature, and it was midnight. And this idea hit me for what we now call the Multiple Myeloma Patient Connect platform. And the thought process was, number one, if we have a map, and I pitched the idea to him the next day, and I told him, I said, I'm going to tell you my idea. You're going to tell me I've lost my mind, and that's okay because I'm expecting it. And he laughed and he said, go ahead. So I said, first of all, we need a map. We need different pin colors for patients and caregivers and medical professionals and researchers. And we need to have the major treatment facilities on the map. And we can even have support groups, local support groups on the map. And we need to be able to filter all of that. And I said, secondly, a lot of the information they tell us about this disease, the demographic information, is based on very small sets of data. And I said, when people are setting up their profile, we could gather demographic information that they've never even imagined possible on this scale. And maybe between the map and the demographic information, maybe we can better understand the disease and at the very least to understand the patient population better. And he really liked that idea. And I said, the other thing is that there are all of these resources out there for patients and caregivers. And there's information from pharma companies. There's information from these wonderful nonprofits, and even hospitals. And there's videos from specialists. And there's just so much out there. And to better understand both the disease and the treatments. And there's also all these financial resources that are available to us that a lot of people don't know about. And I said, we can use this map as a hub to bring all of these parties together and to bring the information in one place to help people be able to better access and find the information that they need. And, once again, I was expecting him to tell me I was crazy, but he said, well, we can do all of that. And we actually started working on it in February of 24. We launched in August of 24. And as of today, we've got over 2,000 users on that from all over the world. And it's really neat to be able to go to that map and see where the patients and the caregivers are all over the world. And of course, we're told multiple myeloma is a rare disease, and it is less than 2% of all cancer diagnoses. But still, just in the U.S., that's about 36,000 people a year that are diagnosed with multiple myeloma. And, on top of that, people are living longer with it. So there's a lot of people out there with this disease. So we've barely scratched the surface. But, what we have found is that people have found out about financial resources from Patient Connect, as well as the group. And they've been able to get copay assistance programs and grants. One of the best things that's happened, and it just brings a smile to my face every time I think about it, is that people, because of the map, have been able to locate others that are nearby. And, now we've had people form their own, I guess you would call it an unofficial support group, where once a month they get together and go to lunch or breakfast or whatever it is. And I say it often, nobody understands like somebody that's been there. And so having somebody that you can go to lunch with or build a friendship with that truly understands what you're going through. I mean, you see it from our Facebook group, you see it from your conversations with others with this disease, how much you learn from other people that have been there. Little tips and tricks to help you deal with the side effects. Just having people that you can talk to, that are treated at the same treatment facility that you are, is just amazing. Find out, last night I got a message from somebody that's treated at the same place I am, asking what hotel I stay at when I'm in town. Even restaurants and just little things just to make things a little bit easier on you. So that's how Patient Connect developed. And this technology can actually be used for any disease. And we have launched a version for bladder cancer. We've also launched one for juvenile myositis. We're currently working on one for adult myositis, and due to some personal relationships. And we were asked to develop it also, a version for heart failure for a doctor that's doing a study. So the technology is really, really improving. The platform's improving. The uses for this platform have just been expanding even beyond what we originally thought. So it's been absolutely amazing to be a part of this and to see how it's all come together in such a short period of time, absolutely short period of time. But if you're not on Patient Connect, I really do hope you'll check it out. I'll put a link in the comments. But from Patient Connect, we have an AI-powered education center, like a frequently asked questions section. And a lot of the information that we're given, and not being critical of this at all, but a lot of the information that's provided through the different sources is very technical. And for people like myself, it's way over my head. I don't want to go that deep in it. I just want to get the big picture. And if I want to dig deeper from the big picture, I can do that. And so when we designed the frequently asked questions section, we divided it up into the disease, the treatments, life with multiple myeloma. And because those are questions that come up. What's my life going to be like? Can I do this? Can I do that? And even we have a section for financial resources, and now we also have a section for paid market research studies. And so you see me posting about that a lot in the Warrior community group. And we also do announcements on Patient Connect about important events and even studies that come up. And we're working on something now, and I can't really go into detail, but to help a system to help connect people with clinical trials. And I think that's very important. And we're constantly expanding the benefits and the features of Patient Connect. So, and there are a lot of different things that call themselves Patient Connect out there. We didn't really know that when we started it, but Patient Connect map is really what it is, and it's way more than a map. So I hope you'll check it out if you haven't. Also, if you are on there, when we originally set it up, it assigned you a member number. And so it was an anonymous member number. Now we have the capabilities where you can go in and actually change your username to whatever you want. I would highly, highly encourage you to do that. One of the great things is being able to, connect with others and actually know who you're dealing with, and not just a random number. I mean, my name is on there, but on the map, it's Alan Stevenson. You can use an initial and last name or however you want to do it. I normally recommend however you have your name on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, to do it that way. I'm making this video both for the warrior community and for those that are not on Facebook and not in our group, so I can put this on YouTube. But, it's been truly a tremendous resource for a lot of people. I got a super, super kind comment yesterday, just telling me how much they appreciated Patient Connect, because this lady was able to connect to somebody that was about an hour away from her. And then because of the map, she found somebody that lived right in her own hometown with multiple myeloma. And I know of another story where somebody lived in Alaska, somebody I've become really close to, and she didn't know anybody else in Alaska that had multiple myeloma. And because of the map, she was able to connect with a few people, and even one that was fairly close to her. And, another situation I can tell you about is we were contacted. We had somebody join the group from the Facebook group from Canada. Her brother had been diagnosed with multiple myeloma. They had never heard of it, like many of us. And because of Patient Connect, within probably 4 hours, we were able to get her with somebody very involved with community outreach and multiple myeloma support in Canada. And he was actually able to connect her with somebody in her own town that ran a local support group. So, going from joining the Multiple Myeloma Warrior Community Facebook group and making a post saying, I've never heard of this, we're terrified, and by the end of the day, we've got them connected with people right there in their own hometown. I mean, that was absolutely amazing, and it brought them, I'm sure, so much comfort. So, if you have not checked it out, please do so. If you are on Patient Connect, I do ask you to go in and change your profile name if you haven't done that, from the anonymous number to some type of name, a little bit easier to recognize you. And, and check out the new features. And we're making announcements on there. And then also, if you're on there, members can message each other there. And there are also group public chats. There's a group public chat about Darzalex, for example, where you can just post in that group chat and say, hey, what are the side effects? I'm about to go on this, and what's that treatment like? What can I expect? There are also treatment center public chats, and some of the local support groups are doing their chats on there also. So anyway, check it out. I'll put the link in the comments, as I said, and I hope you find this to be beneficial. If you're on Patient Connect already, or if you check it out, I would love to see some feedback. And, if Patient Connect has helped you, please put it in the comments. I'd love to see it. Thank you for your time, and I will talk to you later. Love you all. Once again, recording from Shamu Studios. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.